from the Don and Lorena Meyer studio at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln College of Journalism and Mass Communications. This is Nebraska Nightly.
Good afternoon and welcome to Nebraska Nightly. I'm Sophie Farrell.
And I'm Jackson Ingolstad. Yesterday, Matt Rule made it official that he will be staying in Nebraska for the foreseeable future. Our sports director, Trey Marler, is at Memorial Stadium with more details about Rule's decision to stay home.
When many thought this weekend couldn't get any bigger, Troy Dannon found a way, as Matt Rule signed a contract extension on Thursday, extending him as the head coach of Nebraska through 2032.
It's always been we want to be there. That's it. I want to give this team everything I have and not be distracted with anything else. So when they were able to get it done, we were able to get it done.
We're in a better position than we were last year, and last year was a better position than we were in the year before. And as you assess progress in a program, we can't. Haven and I sitting back, we talk every week after we can't judge it based on whether we won a game or lost a game, and say this is where the program is at because of what happened in that game. It's everything.
The contract raises Rule's buyout from $5 million to $15 million, including a $1 million incentive for each trip to the college football playoff. Now, not only are people in Nebraska's facility excited, but students on campus are excited about the clarity that comes with the pen to paper.
I love it. He's bringing Nebraska back to the 90s. I love winning. I would hate to see him go to like Penn State or somewhere. I love seeing Penn State lose.
I'll be back with a full preview of tomorrow's matchup against USC later in sports. Back to you guys in the studio.
We got our first bout of colder weather this week as temps dipped close to freezing.
But what does that mean for trick-or-treating tonight? Nebraska Nightly forecaster Jamison Nichols joins us from the weather wall. Jamison?
That's right, guys. It's a cooler week coming up. Currently here in Lincoln, we're looking at mid-50-degree weather. Winds north-northwest at about 13 to 15 miles per hour, which will cool things down, making it feel a little bit cooler than it actually is. Trick-or-treat forecast. If you're out there tonight, make sure to bundle up. Those temperatures are going to continue cooling down into the upper to lower 40s going into tonight. And our 3-day forecast, it's going to be a little bit cooler tomorrow and Sunday. Monday is going to warm up just a little bit. Back to you.
Some tense moments on campus earlier this week. Nebraska Nightly's Dalen Muse is at the university's courtyards to break down what happened. Dalen?
We are looking live down here at the courtyards where a fire broke out on Monday. The fire was said to be caused by lint being caught up in the lint dryer. First responders reported to this incident where they found all of the students and the faculty already evacuated. They then led themselves to the 3rd floor where they found smoke coming from a dryer. There were no incidents reported. The university suggests that you clean the lint catcher before and after every load. Be aware of signs like clothes taking longer than usual to dry, and seek professional cleaning services annually. We also do suggest that you make sure no flammable products are by your dryer when it is in use. Back to you guys at the desk.
The UNL chapter of the American Association of Professors, known as the AAUP, met with the press on Wednesday to discuss the consequences of the university's budget cuts. The chapter president, Sarah Zuckerman, kicked off the news conference, explaining her background and how she is one of the many affected by the cuts.
So there have been cuts 8 of the 9 years that I've been at UNL, going back to 2016. And these cuts would bring the total reduction since 2017-18 to 24%. So that's a quarter, basically, of the university budget. And that's something that I have personally felt every year since I've been here. When I first showed up, I was like, wow, I have finally arrived at a real university. I feel supported. There are all these resources. And year after year, they have disappeared to the point where my department may be disappearing.
While modifications with the budget have been a regular occurrence at UNL in previous years, Zuckerman says the current proposal stands out from the rest. $27.5 million in budget cuts are being planned. If approved, these would include more than $10 million in academic budgets, resulting in the elimination of 6 academic programs, the realignments of 4 academic departments, and the reduction of 2 colleges. There would also be an additional $17 million reduction from the budget regarding efficiencies, student life, incentive programs, and more. National AAUP financial analyst Bonnie Fox-Garrity conducted an analysis. Her report showed a lopsided increase of administrator pay in comparison to faculty.
The administration is doubling down on the recent history of deprioritizing the instruction and the students at the institution. And it is time to defend that instruction and resist cuts that would undermine the educational mission.
Nothing is official, but many others are voicing their opinions of how these plans will affect UNL. A final decision will be made by the Board of Regents in December.
The University of Nebraska-Lincoln Counseling and Psychological Services made a change to their individual counseling sessions. We sent Nebraska Nightly's Hudson Carrico for more details.
UNL's very own Counseling and Psychological Services made a change to their individual counseling sessions at the start of this semester. The change will allow students to continue meeting with their counselors after 8 student fee covered sessions. However, students can now meet over that 8 meeting limit at the cost of $50 per extra session. Licensed psychologist and director of CAPS, Dr. Tricia Bissett-Alish, says that CAPS uses a short-term model consisting of biweekly appointments ranging from 7 to 8 total sessions. She said this change allows students to continue their appointments if they choose to do so.
We heard from the students and we heard from the student government that there was an interest in what if students though wanted to continue, right? What if they wanted to continue beyond those appointments? So instead of us referring them to the community, we can continue to meet with them, and after session 8, then it would start at a $50 per session subsidized rate.
Bissett-Alish said the $50 per extra session is included in student fees that already cover the 8 initial sessions.
So for example, if you go to a private practice to see a counselor or psychologist, some of those sessions can run from $150 to $250. The student fees help subsidize that rate to only be $50 after session 8.
Licensed psychologist and assistant director of clinical services, Katie Meindlinger, says this change is an upgrade from the previous appointment extension process, which she said was unclear and required approval by committee.
There was an extension process, but it was not very clean. And I think it was also not always clear to students that that was happening. So we're trying to make it equitable. This is the policy, this is how it works, and make it really between the student and their therapist rather than having to come and have the extension approved by committee.
For more information regarding CAPS and their individual counseling sessions, you can visit their office in the University Health Center at 550 North 19th Street. From Nebraska Nightly, this has been Hudson Carrico.
Last week, 3 alleged scooter thieves were arrested for their crimes on UNL's city campus. UNL PD reports 8 scooters have been stolen on campus since the beginning of the school year. All 8 scooters were left unattended, and all but 1 theft happened during daylight hours. 3 arrests were made on October 24th. 2 Lincoln teens, ages 19 and 18, each received 2 counts of misdemeanor theft by unlawful taking. And a 42-year-old Lincoln woman received a single count of misdemeanor theft by unlawful taking. No scooters were recovered. UNLPD made note of ways to properly secure scooters on campus. Lock your scooter to a bike rack when it's unattended. Always park in a safe area with plenty of lighting and traffic. Bring your scooter inside a secure place when possible. A list of campus safety resources can be found at safety.unl.edu. The high school marching band season wrapped up last Saturday.
Nebraska Nightly's Logan Witten takes us through the sights and sounds of this final contest.
On Saturday, the Nebraska State Bandmasters Association held their state marching band contest, which wrapped up the high school marching band season. The contest was held at Millard South High School and consisted of 23 bands who performed their shows which they had been working on since the beginning of the school year.
Every year, and I say this to every band that we have, is that this group of people will never exist again. This show will never exist again. And so what's special about it is that we are elevating every year. And in particular, this class has really elevated to the occasion, elevated to the show, and our performance ability has gone up because of that.
Each band spends countless hours trying to perfect their show each week, as well as bonding with their sections.
I've really proud of like the bond Frontline has as a group and how much we've improved throughout the season and like throughout the 4 years. I feel like this might be our best group yet.
Millard North senior Harper Knott had an emotional night as she had her final performance for her school.
It's very bittersweet. It's crazy to have dedicated like 8 years of my life to one thing and then just have it randomly be over. But I mean, I learned so much and made so many good friends.
Millard West show Electric Sunrise took home first place with a score of 92.15 points. But for many, marching band isn't just about winning, but rather the community and friendship that it provides.
It's a place where you can be yourself and just curate a really good and amazing family and have people that care about you.
For more information on the results of the contest, you can go to nsbma.org. Logan Witten, Nebraska Nightly.
Coming up on Nebraska Nightly, a look at the weather.
And SNAP benefits are on pause in Nebraska.
On average, every Big Ten student wastes 112 pounds of garbage each year, but there's a fix. Make sure you use an Aussie when you dine in and be a part of the change.
As soon as I kicked one of my buddies in the head, I was like, yeah, we gotta go after that.
I take back what I said.
Hey, done for the day?
Yeah, just kind of maxed out on people.
Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
You know, thanks for asking. I have been feeling just kind of off lately.
Do you want me to
Concerned about a friend? Just ask and refer them to counseling and psychological services at UNL.
Welcome back to Nebraska Nightly. Let's take a look at our weather headlines. It's going to be a cool yet calm Halloween tonight, a chilly game tomorrow, so make sure to dress warm, but next week is looking real beautiful. More on that in a bit. Now let's look at our radar. You can see a little bit of precipitation right here in northern Kansas down to southern Nebraska, Hastings, Grand Island, York. That's not going to affect us. That will push out of the area as tonight continues. And looking at our satellite imagery, you can see that precipitation right here in northern Kansas. We're in this little thin band between these two cloud patches, and up here into Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota, there's a lot more. But we should have a full, good-looking sunset tonight. First look weather. You might have noticed a little bit of frost if you had to drive here today on your car this morning. Those temperatures were close to the freezing point, but continued to rise, and now they're continuing to fall going into tonight. Southeast Nebraska temperatures out through Ord, Kearney, Red Cloud, 40 degrees, 49 degrees. Central Nebraska is looking a little bit warmer, 50, 51, 52 in Lincoln right here. Omaha's a little bit chillier though, 49. And here's something worth noting really quickly. The Storm Prediction Center has no thunderstorms forecast today. It's a pretty calm day across the entire nation. That's pretty unusual. Finally, with our 7-day forecast, tomorrow for the big game, it's going to start off a little bit cooler, 50 degrees, Sunday 48 degrees. But man, look at next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all in the 60s. Tuesday specifically is going to be a really beautiful day. Get out there, make the most of it. Back to you.
So Jameson, with our LA folks coming in town for the USC-Nebraska football matchup, I think it's safe to say they got to bundle up used to their normal, typical California weather.
Oh yeah, those Californians are going to have a nice pace of change, that's for sure.
Thank you very much, Jameson. The federal government has been shut down since the start of the month, and on Wednesday, the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services announced a pause in the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, in the state. The USDA notified Nebraska DHHS that SNAP benefits for November would be delayed if the shutdown continued. SNAP benefits are used by many Americans to help put food on the table. Current SNAP recipients will be able to use remaining benefits on their EBT cards, and currently unused SNAP funds will be available until 9 months from the date of the last use. No new benefits will be applied during the pause. In the Lincoln area, some food assistance resources can be found at the Food Bank for the Heartland, Food Bank of Lincoln, Catholic Charities, or the MyLNK Resource Finder, available on the MyLNK app.
In Washington, the politicians on both sides of the aisle are playing the blame game. Democrats and Republicans have yet to find a compromise. The president says it's up to the Democrats.
The shutdown proceeds because the Democrats just don't know what they're doing. I don't know what's wrong with them. They've never done a thing like this. They've become crazed lunatics. All they have to do is say, let's go, let's open up our country, and everything snaps back into shape. Let them open up the country, and we'll meet. We'll meet very quickly.
Among those affected are Nebraska seniors as well. Circumstances are getting more dire for people on Medicare and their ability to access telehealth services. The shutdown looks like it will continue until at least next week, as the Senate adjourned for the weekend.
After celebrating Halloween tonight and tuning into November football this weekend, most Americans will get an extra hour of sleep. Daylight saving time ends on Sunday and our clocks will fall back 1 hour. The time change also means our days will be shorter and the nights will be longer as the official start date of winter gets closer. Daylight saving time for most of the U.S. and many other countries begins in March when our clocks skip forward 1 hour. It ends on the first Sunday in November. The practice began in Europe and the U.S. during World War I to save fuel and power. And the U.S. states are not required by law to fall back or spring forward. Hawaii, most of Arizona, and some territories in the Pacific and Caribbean do not observe daylight saving time.
Coming up after the break, I'll have the full preview of tomorrow's matchup against the USC Trojans. Plus, hear from head coach Amy Williams and Fred Hoiberg ahead of the start of college basketball season on Monday. Back to Nebraska Nightly, I'm Trey Marler. This one just feels different. It's one of those special feelings on a college campus that something big is on the horizon. That thing here in Lincoln, tomorrow's blackout matchup inside Memorial Stadium against number 23 ranked USC Trojans. The end zones are black. The stands are going to be black. The uniforms are black. The flags on the outside of the stadium are black. And for the first time in a long time, it's meaningful November football in Lincoln. And as the late Herb Brooks once said, great moments are born from great opportunity. And this Nebraska football team is ready for the challenge ahead.
This is what Coach Rule and his staff have prepared us for, is winning in November, December, and January. That's the whole reason why a lot of us came here, was for games like this.
Our guys are fired up for this week, and a lot of them have mentioned to me just like this is why I'm here, and this is one reason why I'm here, is for games like this. So we're fired up and ready to go.
I'm excited for it. I know the guys are too, but the process is still the process. Our preparation has to be the best it's ever been. I mean, it's you can't let the game be too big, but big time players play big and big time games.
The spot on the Nebraska football team that shines so bright so much this season is the special teams unit. Kenneth Williams, who was put on scholarship after the Maryland game, took a 94-yard to the house to start the second half last weekend versus Northwestern, and USC head coach Lincoln Riley is not overlooking the dangers of Nebraska's special teams.
That's the thing about that unit. You can go have 50 great reps in a row, and at number 51 all it takes is one, and then you have a game-changing play the other way. So obviously another very talented returner. They had a huge return last week that was really key in their victory over Northwestern. And so no, we've challenged our guys like they've been awesome all year. But we've got to be able to go out there and do it every single snap and rise up to the occasion.
Nebraska and USC is set for Under the Lights tomorrow night inside Memorial Stadium. Kickoff at 6:30. USC comes in at 5-2. Nebraska at 6-2. USC is 4-0 versus Nebraska since 1970. And as a reminder, this is the blackout game for Nebraska, and all fans are encouraged to wear black to black out Memorial Stadium. To the hardwood, where Nebraska men's and women's basketball are gearing up for their respective season openers inside PBA on Monday. And after a successful exhibition season for both squads, both head coaches are ready for the real deal.
offensively, I thought we settled a little bit in that second one, but once we got that thing moving in the second half, our offense really started to click. So, two really good opportunities and good games for us to get out in front of our fans, and we're excited to get rolling on Monday.
Really looking forward to Monday, which has become, just one of the best times of the year for us as a group. Is not just opening game for our season that we're incredibly excited to get started, but also just an awesome event.
The Nebraska women get the opening day start as they face off with Northwestern State at noon on Monday. The Nebraska men follow at 7 with their home opener against West Georgia. Then tonight on the volleyball court, it's Nebraska visiting Wisconsin for a rivalry Halloween night matchup. And of course, the main event tomorrow inside Memorial Stadium as Nebraska hosts USC for the blackout game. Reporting from Lincoln, Trey Marler, Nebraska Nightly Sports.
Treats in South Lincoln.
And staying safe this Halloween weekend. Stay tuned.
Security. Husker Pantry addresses food insecurity and a welcoming space by providing free food and personal items to UNL students in need. Due to high with food insecurity. Husker Pantry addresses food insecurity and a welcoming space by providing free food and personal items to UNL students in need. Due to high demand, the pantry often runs out of essential items. Help keep the pantry stocked by donating the most needed items. From canned food to personal items and cleaning supplies, you can make a difference by donating. Learn how to donate by visiting pantry.unl.edu.
Back to Nebraska Nightly's nefarious newscast. I am Nora Fleming, the Cheshire Cat.
And I'm Angie Twombly, your Queen of Hearts. But first off,
Happy Halloween!
To all our viewers at home, we hope your night is full of sweet treats.
And some scary surprises.
We would like to say thank you for tuning in to Nebraska Nightly on this night of chills and thrills, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Families in South Lincoln came together Thursday night for a safe and ghostly celebration. The annual trunk or treat at Charter Title and Escrow Services has become a growing community that tradition brings together family, neighbors, and local businesses. For the 5th year in a row, Charter Title and Escrow Services hosted its annual trunk or treat, bringing together families, friends, and local businesses for a night filled with candy and costumes. There were nearly 40 businesses there, all with unique handouts for Lincoln's youth. What began around 200 people in its first year has now grown to about 700, filling the Charter Title parking lot with laughter, decorations, and community spirit.
As we celebrate Halloween in many fun ways, it is important to note how to stay safe during this chaotic night. Nebraska Nightly's Connor Peck talked with UNL Police Captain Aaron Pembleton.
Halloween is a busy and exciting time at Nebraska. With all the parties and events going on, it is imperative that you take precautions to stay safe. The University of Nebraska-Lincoln Police says that students should be aware of costume malfunctions that could possibly put you in danger.
I think a couple things that we can layer onto is, again, it's Halloween, so there's costumes involved. So again, sometimes people go to the highest level thing, right? But again, trips and falls can be a danger for people. So wearing a costume that fits appropriately, that you're not going to trip and fall. It could be cold, so again, we want people to dress so they don't get hypothermia or anything like that. And then also like visual impairment. Again, if you're going downtown, if you're trying to cross traffic, if you're doing whatever, please be careful with that. Maybe if you have some type of hood or something that goes, like a mask that goes over your face, maybe get to your location first before you put it on.
Officer Pembleton also reminds students of the buddy system and the Good Samaritan law, keeping your close ones safe.
When it comes to that. And then also just the overindulgement part of it. If you're not an educated drinker, mind your manners, understand your limits, take a buddy with you. The buddy system's always something that we want to be in play for our friends. Again, we like to remind people about the Good Samaritan law. If you are with a friend and we think there's a medical issue because of alcohol, don't worry about the legal ramifications. Get the person help, right? Call for medical, call EMS. Let us get there to make sure the person's safe so they don't get in any trouble.
Follow these tips and you will have a great Halloween night. Connor Peck, Nebraska Nightly.
So joining us, a surprise guest, Mike Wazowski. And Angie, I'd just like to ask, what were some of your favorite childhood movies for the Halloween time?
I think some of my favorites were like Halloween Town. I think I watch it at least 4 times a year, maybe, even not during Halloween season. It's just amazing. The 4th movie doesn't exist to me though, so oops.
Okay,
But
I think
yeah.
we know what his favorite movie's gotta be.
I'm not sure. Coming up on Nebraska Nightly, we will be announcing the winners for our studio's costume contest.
And talk about our final weather this Halloween weekend. Stick with us.
Okay, so how about this much?
I don't know.
Well, how about this much?
I don't know.
How about,
Actually, I don't know.
okay, maybe this much?
I don't know.
The very tip of your pencil, a fraction of a raindrop, 3 grains of salt. That's how much it takes for a dose of fentanyl to become lethal. Learn more at realdealonfentanyl.com.
The need for blood never stops. And at the Nebraska Community Blood Bank, your blood could help save lives. Right now, only 7% of the population donates blood. But imagine if there were more.
We're sitting at below a 7-day level of supply of all blood types across the board. So every blood type is important, and we need all donors of all types to come in and donate right now.
At the Nebraska Community Blood Bank, they believe that all types make a strong blood supply.
Welcome back to Nebraska Nightly. As Lincoln's youth prepares to head out trick-or-treating and Husker students get ready for a fun Friday night on campus, we here at Nebraska Nightly decided to get into the Halloween spirit for today's show.
Thanks to some amazing planning by some of our students, we invited everyone in Nebraska Nightly Experience Lab to attend today's show in costume. And we have a few winners for our Nebraska Nightly Staff Costume Contest.
First, let's take a look at some of the costumes that were in the Don and Lorena Meyer studio today. We had everything from inflatable monsters, Mike Wazowski, to current faculty, and the images on your screen are some of our favorite costumes that floated around the newsroom today.
But naturally, there has to be winners, and there are. Logan Witten as Mike Wazowski,
Tyler Moore as McLovin,
and Dawson Iasillo as our Chief Engineer, Jamie Wenz. Congratulations to our winners of our costume contest. It was so fun to see you all in costume. Trey discussed how big tomorrow night's football game is, but what will Nebraska's November weather do at kickoff?
Nebraska Nightly's forecaster Jamison Nichols returns to discuss Big Ten football weather, plus a last look at your trick-or-treating forecast for tonight. Jamison?
That's right. 43 degrees, that's the magic number of what the temperature will be at kickoff tomorrow at 6:30. So make sure to bundle up, stay warm. It's going to be a chilly one. And again, it's the USC game, blackout game. Make sure to wear black, not just because it looks good, but because it'll help insulate your body heat and keep you warm. I got to know, you guys are going to the game, right?
Yeah, we're going to the game. Are you good?
Of course, we got to. Like, I'm excited for tomorrow, but really, the real talk is tonight. So, what's going on here? Is that what you're being tonight?
I'm just gonna stay in. I'm a little bummed out. I think College of Journalism and Mass Communications did some rigging in the costume voting, and
of course.
I'm a little let down by my peers and leaders in this institution. So I'm gonna be staying in tonight.
Well, are you guys staying in your costumes tonight?
I think I am, but I might put a little sweater on.
A little sweater.
I think I'll for sure be changing. The cat makeup is not my favorite.
I think it looks amazing on you, by the way. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to Nebraska Nightly. Remember us to follow on our social medias at Nebraska Nightly.
We hope you have a safe Halloween, and remember to stay warm if you are going to the football game tomorrow.
Nebraska Nightly will be back on the air tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for the Unlimited Sports Preview Show, previewing Nebraska and USC. Until then, happy Halloween and good night.
Nebraska Nightly is a production of the University of Nebraska's College of Journalism and Mass Communications.